it was like you almost had a glass ceiling in a way. You needed to go do something else.
Well, we were like, we radio is interesting in the sense that like you can be the
Hang on, before we move on.
Yeah.
Is that glass ceiling saying a reference to Willy Wonka when they shoot through the glass ceiling at the end?
It's just a general term to say like you've reached your sort of maximum potential.
I don't know where it came from, eh?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's often talked about in terms of like sexism and gender equality.
Yeah.
But where did the actual term come from?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Is it because it looks like there is no ceiling, but there is?
Yeah. Maybe.
Shouldn't have brought it up, guys. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if you were referencing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, I was saying
it's a good analogy, though.
a frustrating thing about any kind of mainstream media that's not the internet is that we could be the best show in the world, right? With the most fans or whatever. But if all of the Drive and Breakfast and all the big radio shows have contracts for the next 3 years, too bad.
Do?
Yeah, either the radio has to fire people and then pay them to do nothing for the remaining 2 years of their contracts.
Yeah.
Or we have to wait 3 years until that space frees up and then maybe get it. But in the meantime, we don't do a show.
Yeah. Or you go out to like a country gig like Shepparton or Ballarat or something which is not wholly impractical for what you're doing in the larger picture of your careers anyway.
Yeah, which we just didn't really want to. But basically, we love
just want
radio.
To be comedians,
we just want to
and
do
it's
it.
hard to be a
but you're
stand-up comedian.
At the end of the day, when I asked you both if you had to do one thing and you've both said stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you couldn't do YouTube or any of that, it'd be stand-up.
Absolutely.
It's quite evident that it's just not practical.
Well, it did actually get to a point where maybe around the time that we did the last episode, it was about April, we went into a couple of meetings and we hit like a fork in the road where it was pretty much like, well, guys, it's come to the point we need to decide what's more important to you, radio or stand-up. And then everyone at the radio station's like, and I think it's pretty obvious what you're going to pick. You know, radio's the way to go. And we're just like... What? No.
We almost
in the interview?
No, essentially.
we had to pretend that wasn't the easiest choice in the world.
We had to be like, you're right, we'll have to go away and have a long, hard think about this. And then we walked out going, well,
fuck that.
Yeah.
There's very few meetings you get like that, but when you're in them, you're like, wow, this person cannot read the room at all.
But yeah, I don't know. Radio is something that we haven't left permanently. We could go back to it, we could not, but we're really enjoying just doing the show when we want to do the show, like doing it twice a week.
I think radio is one of those. Radio is particularly I haven't been involved in many different industries. I have had a very fortunate life where I haven't had that many jobs, but like
many jobs. You've only ever worked at a golf course picking up balls, and that's it.
3 weeks of furniture removal. So if you want any help with a piano up a staircase, I'm your guy. When I was 15.
Jesus Christ.
100% illegal.
Who roped you into that?
Just like a guy I knew at the athletics club.
A guy I knew.
Hey, I have a $40,000 piano I need moved up a staircase. No worries, I've got a couple of 15-year-old blokes that never lifted anything in their life. They'll sort it out.
One move and they're done.
But everyone in the radio industry, their life is radio. Like it's radio it's like it's everything. And they live in this kind of like a bubble, I guess. They live in this world where it's like, and a lot of our friends who are in radio still live in that world. And now that I've moved out of it, I caught up with them a few weeks ago and it was just like all radio chat. And I was like, yeah, but how have you been though? Like outside of that.
It's kind of like if we eventually colonize the moon, right? They're still human, but if you met up with someone, they would be talking about the moon president and moon celebrities, and you'd be like talking about Earth shit.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, you're both human and you can talk, but neither of you know. You're in different worlds.
It was crazy. Like people, and that's why I think they thought the decision was so obvious, because to them, radio is everything. And we kind of came into radio going, well, this is a platform we could do comedy on. And that was always our thing.
Yeah, they've sort of got the introspection illusion where they've been in sort of an industry for so long and they're
Can we
like...
turn my headphones down? I'm going deaf. They're so loud. Yeah. You don't have to turn me down, but...
I'll just turn them down.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that's nice.
That's better?
I like that.
It was on
That's
100, to be fair.
On 100, yeah.
What do you guys normally do with your... you've got the
We have a Roadcaster.
Roadcaster.
We worked out a really good system.
We automated our Alex panel operator's job.
We're buying one next week.
They're great.
It's so good. You should hit them up. They're giving them out for free. All these podcasters that I that I follow, they all got rode for free after we bought
got
it.
a comment on our podcast yesterday saying, haha, you dickheads bought Radio Mic 2.0.
Yeah, because
But
Frenchie's
they're not
podcast
that expensive. I
Well,
mean,
they're like $800.
They're like $700, $800.
yeah, but the best $800 you ever spend.
It's
I mean,
true.
this
It's
thing
amazing.
was $650, and I bought it 3
I know,
years
I
ago.
just bought one of those, yeah.
Did
Fuck.
you?
Well, I started filming my stand-up sets properly. You need to record
And then
the
you just
mic.
whack it in. Yeah.
So,
That's interesting. Yeah, because we're about to buy like a full-on camera rig as well for sort of doing cinematic shots for clients and also more Q&A style interviews here for us. And I'll move that to the camera.
yeah.
And then
yeah.
we'll have the Rode.
Yeah.
Is it Rodecaster or Rode Pro? Because the Procaster is the mic.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We
Anyway.
used to call it Radio Mic 2.0. You're asking guys who think it's funny. Well, all we use it for is playing fart sounds. So
Yeah.
you're asking the
Yeah.
wrong people.
Yeah, it has sound effect buttons. What are you going to do with that?
Me?
Load up some
We just
farts?
have like 8.
I don't know. It's just more that like it's just a better device.
Yes.
Like I've
it
had
is.
some issues where I'm pretty sure this channel might be a little bit busted. So on some interviews you get like a minor, you can only hear it
And
if you're really listening
Also,
for it.
it doesn't have knobs and stuff. It has like the panel, like the sliding bars. It's
Yeah.
so easy to monitor.
nice
And you
levels.
can lock them in
It has
as
an
well, yeah?
electronic screen that's heaps better than the ones on the. It's way better.
It's just
way
better.
Yeah.
Way better. The quality of the audio is a lot. You got
very
different
reliable.
frequencies.
Yeah.
I just think we need a little upgrade. It's just part of the course. But I mean, look, you guys are doing well. I've enjoyed listening. There's
Yeah.
been some great little snippets in there, whether it's crocodiles on meth or you and your fucking braille and
Yeah, we,
subtitles for people.
Yeah.
So I love the fan art. Someone made a poster of Luke and Lewis with braille on it.
Yes,
yeah.
that was good.
If you want to check out the highlights of it, if you don't have time for another podcast to listen to, check us out at Luke and Lewis on Instagram or YouTube. We post highlights and shit, and then check out a full one if you want.
Yeah. But,
Highlights are good. I really like the highlights.
I think that's
it's good
how
to keep up to date with
I
what's
reckon
going
I
on.
listen, like, I think I listen to 20 podcasts, but
No,
really I
no
listen
way.
to 2, and then I follow the highlights of all of these other ones.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it's going now, where everybody
Yeah.
goes, oh man, I love your podcast, but they'll only ever reference little tiny clips that I've uploaded, which is great.
Yeah.
More people see it. But I think that's it's an interesting thing of like, we've gone... It's almost cheating. It's like instead of putting heaps of effort to make the funniest 2 minutes ever, we just make an hour all the time, and then we go, oh, 2
These are the
minutes and
best
that'll
bit.
be pretty good.
Yeah.
Chuck that out.
But it's part of the process. It's part of your process of improving as comedians anyway. And I think
Oh,
people
yeah.
realize that. There'll be the super fans who always, like we probably have like 1,000 or 2,000 people that will always listen to the entire thing.
Yes,
And
yeah.
the rest, I reckon they listen to 15 minutes.
They come in and out.
Yeah.
So it's just par the course, I think. And